every night. Statistically, you're going to be better at it. Am I telling you to do it? No, I'm telling you what it is. If you drink and drive once a month, you're going to be all nervous. See?
You know, when I don't ride a motorcycle, I go through withdrawal. It's not good for my health.
This thing out and kick it with your leg like a man.
I didn't know bikes still have those.
They don't have men anymore. That's why they took them all off. This.
Can I get a true papi muñeño?
I don't know who the fuck you are, but in a different setting I might hit you.
Dad, as long as you're a UFC fighter, you're happy, right?
Oh, that's a good treat. You know, if it wasn't UFC, I'd probably be cooking meth in a trailer in prison, so yeah, I'm grateful to the fans.
Would you like to learn some Chinese? Ni hao.
What was that? Wait, what am I saying? What am I saying?
Hello.
Meow.
I've got a new forward sprocket guard I want to toss on, get rid of the plastic one that holds all the mud. Just make it easier to blast all the mud out of there and make sure I'm not jamming it up if I'm in a thick mud situation. And then probably in general just gonna go over the bike, make sure nothing's messed up. I mean, I don't think anything really got broken. It was really just us sliding down the side of a steep mountainside. The bike fell kind of hard a few times. You know, if I was on a slope, slope's going this way, and the bike would topple that direction, and you know, you get another foot or so fall out of it. It slammed pretty hard a few times like that, but nothing too crazy. Might check the front brake out. That thing got exercised pretty good that day. Matt's was seizing up on the way back, and the whole rotor was like blue from riding the front brake down that entire mountain. But yeah, start there. Just kind of look around, make sure I didn't crack any cases and stuff like that, and see what happens. Alright, so I picked up this Zeta front sprocket cover. Kind of funky looking. Not a huge fan of the design, but key is it's, you know, it helps you keep mud from packing up against your engine case. You know, you want as much free area as possible in there, so something goes in there, it doesn't get lodged into your case by the chain and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna pop this thing on there, and while I'm down here, just kind of take a general look around and see what might have happened the other day out on the Berkshires to this thing. Hopefully nothing, but we'll find out. So it's made of aluminum, doesn't really weigh much. It's got this little nifty spacer there. They give you all new bolts and stuff. Hopefully they're decent. They look like they're stainless. I can't really tell. Hopefully they are. But yeah, we'll pop this thing on there and see how it looks. This was my old trailside kind of toolkit. Worth, it's like one of those German tool companies. It's a good kit. It's small and it's all metric, so it's got like just about everything you need. I've had this for, I don't know, 7 years. It's a good kit, and I used to keep it on the bike just because it's got, I mean, literally almost anything you need other than the wrench for your axles. But yeah, it's a good kit. I found another one made by a company called Wera. It's another German tool company. It's almost an identical kit. It's just a lot lighter. It's not in this metal case, and it's smaller, fits in the bag better. You don't get like the full-size screwdriver, and the ratchet's like the size of the head of this ratchet, but that's all you really need. when you're out on the trails and whatnot, I think, anyway. It looks like it's just 2 8mm bolts holding this thing on, so spin those off. So that's the old cover pretty much. It's just plastic, kind of bulky, and if you look at the way it's designed, I mean there's some drainage in there, but you still get a lot of stuff backed up, and the worst part is you can't see what's going on in there, so better to be able to see what's happening than to not. But looks like I got some stuff in here already. Some leaves and whatnot. Not a big deal. I still gotta clean the bike. Just haven't gotten to it. I figured I'd get this thing on first so I can just blast a stream of water in here and get everything out. But yeah, I guess you get a good view. I got the 50 tooth in the rear and the 13 up front. I really like this setup for the woods. It's nice. Not ideal on the road. You lose a ton of your top end speed. But I mostly ride this thing in the woods, and now I've got my old rims and tires with the other set of sprockets I was running. I think there's a 44 on the stock rear right now. I might go back to the original sprocket just because I'm only going to be putting those on when I'm going for a long trip. And I think I'd rather just have the stock sprocket than the 44 tooth anyway. And then I still got the 14 tooth that'll probably toss back on if I'm going for a long ride too. And then this is the DID chain that I threw on here. It's an X-ring chain. I tossed this little guard on just before we went out, and I'm glad I did. Match chain was flattened from just all the rocks and stuff we were riding over, and in between, your tires falling in between, the rock next to it's rubbing on your chain, and I honestly don't see any signs of wear on my chain at all, which is nice. And this thing's all chewed up on the underside, so I think I picked this up off Amazon. I'd definitely get one. It's JFG Racing. I don't think it was expensive either, so it was definitely worth it. I'm not going to throw any Loctite on the bolts that go into the casing, but for this bracket I think I'm going to throw a little Loctite on this bolt just because I should never really have to touch this again, hopefully. Just a dollop will do you. I'm pretty much totally guessing the orientation of that, but let's see if that's right. I can't even see the hole there. Looks good to me. And then I think I got another spacer that'll go in here, and we should be good to go. So the round spacer they give you goes on the top, and I use the longer bolt on top, and then the shorter bolt will just go through that spacer right there. I'll just start spinning those in. And these should be 8mm as well. Don't really like this wire getting pinched by this thing. Not a fan of that. Let's see if I can get it around it. They give you this little slot for this wire to go into. I guess one of the downsides to changing this cover might be that the cover's not there to kind of hold this wire in place. I think that's going to... I think that's just your gear indicator wire, if I had to guess. Not super crucial. Not that worried about it. I'm sure I'll regret saying that at some point. That's alright, I regret a lot of things. I like to say whenever I'm putting something into the casings, just tight is tight. Once it gets tight, I give it like a 1/16 of a turn, maybe 1/8 of a turn, feel it out. And that's that. So that thing's on there, and it's not rubbing. Yeah, no rubbage there, but that is tight. I mean, you drop this on something and dent this in, it's definitely going to make contact with your bolts. So we will have to see if that happens. That is tight. I would almost consider maybe making some of my own spacers for that. I mean, it doesn't look like I've had any crazy impacts on the old cover. Maybe just because of where it is in between the casing and the frame. It doesn't happen, so let's hope that's the case. Well, yeah. Lost the little rubber grommet for my shifter when we were in the trail, and when I was going back up to help Matt, ended up coming across it somehow. Pretty sure I put it in here. Yeah, there she is. So we go pop that bad boy back on. That son of a bitch goes on there tight. That's fucking bastard. There it is. All right, she's back on there. It's good to go. If you never got an up-close look at these Outback Motortech crash bars, this is them. They're pretty robust. I mean, I'd say that's 1/4-inch steel all the way down. Your motor mount bolts, they give you new ones, a little longer. You slide them out, take the new ones, slide them through, put these plates on either side, and like I said, it's 1/4-inch steel, the whole thing pretty much. And I've landed on these things pretty hard, and nothing's gotten damaged yet, or bent or anything. So I mean, they're pretty good. I put these things to use. The front crossbar here does crossbar here does rub on your fender, so if you're picky about that type of stuff, it might be a problem for you. Could just be my bike, but I don't really care for those type of things. I mean, it's a dirt bike. It's meant to have the shit kicked out of it. A little rubbing on the plastics doesn't bother me. This is the other side. You can see I've taken some pretty hard hits on this thing. One thing I did notice down in here, I landed on this thing hard enough that all this 1/4-inch steel flexed, and you can see right here where it contacted my cylinder head, which is a little concerning. But I've put this thing down pretty hard a few times, so I mean, it doesn't move a whole lot, so I must have landed pretty hard to make that happen. But I would highly recommend these. I mean, nothing's contacting your radiator. I mean, you can get an aluminum radiator guard, but it's aluminum, right? So if you're gonna land hard enough on this that you're gonna crush the radiator, your radiator's made out of aluminum, your expensive guard's probably just gonna crush too. That's why I think these are perfect. The bar goes right in front of your radiator. I mean, yeah, there's still the concern of like a stick jabbing into your radiator, I guess. You could justify buying one for that, but which I probably will eventually, because knowing my luck, I'll talk all this shit about radiator guards and a stick will go through my radiator, which is how it goes. I put this Zeta trigger brake pedal on because my old brake pedal got mangled multiple times, and I was sick of bending it back, and it just seemed to get worse every time. I got the Zeta oil filter cover because dropped it on my oil filter cover and cracked it, so threw the new one on. It wasn't leaking yet, but I figured it would the next time I drop it. And I think this is a machined aluminum versus the stock one that was cast, so hopefully this doesn't crack. if you hit it. You can tell the Yoshi pipe said hi to a rock the other day out on the trail, so that sucks, but at least it's just the header. What's up, boys? What's up, boys? What's a good boy? What else do we got? We got this armadillo guard off Amazon for the pipe. My old exhaust was pretty battered back here at the silencer, and I didn't want that to happen to this because, you know, things like $700. So I threw this on. I threw one of these like sumo looking exhaust guards on just to keep it from getting ruined too quick, and definitely got put to use the other day. Alright, so the next thing I gotta do is go through and tighten all these spokes. When you get the Warp9 MX wheels, it's probably any aluminum rim they sell. You put them on, you ride for 20 minutes, tighten all the spokes, front and rear, and then you ride another 20 minutes. I think it's 3 different cycles. You run another 20 minutes, tighten them all, another 20 minutes, tighten them all. So I think every 20 minutes for a total of like an hour of riding, you go around, tighten all of them in the correct order, and that's just to make sure that the wheels trued up and everything's tight. And then after that, I think they recommend every 5 or 6 rides or so, something like that. So I'm just gonna go through, tighten these up. I like to start either at the Schrader valve or at the wheel lock, just so I have a reference point. So I'll start at the Schrader valve this time. I'm using this U-Harbor, I think is the name of the brand. I got it off Amazon. Spoke torque wrench. Pretty decent little tool. I mean, for what it costs, it's pretty well made. It's all machined aluminum. I kind of like the locking mechanism they have. It's a good tool. For the CRF300 wheels, Warp9 recommends that you do 44 foot-pounds on the spokes. So I just set the tool to 44 foot-pounds, and what you do is you go counterclockwise looking from the hub in. So if I was looking this direction towards the hub, I want to turn counterclockwise to tighten these up. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to tighten the spoke nipples, and it's clockwise if you're looking from the rim to the hub. So in my case, I'm going to be going up to tighten them. That'd be clockwise. So I'm going to start on the first spoke here and then do every third. So I'll do this one, 1, 2, 3. I'll do that one, the third one. 1, 2, 3. I'll do that one. 1, 2, 3, and so on. So yeah, 44 foot-pounds and clockwise. And then when it's at 44 foot, sorry, I'm saying foot-pounds. I meant to say inch-pounds. Once you're at 44 inch-pounds, it'll click just like that. I'll show you again. And yeah, go from there. So 1, 2, 3. That one's already good. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes they're a pain in the ass to get them on. I don't know if it's the coating they use on the nipples or what, but sometimes they suck to get on. Could be because the bike's filthy too. I don't know. And I just recently did these, so they're not going to be too bad. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so what just happened there is I was using the wrench, didn't realize that the head was off kilter, so I wasn't in line with the pin in here, so it couldn't give me the torque action. So I have to loosen this one back up because I probably just went too far with it. And just retorque that. Luckily this is on the first go around and everything else is probably a little loose, and I'm going to be doing everything again anyway, so. Alright, so then once you get to the end, you started here the first time, you go to this one the next time, every third again, and then you do it one more time, every third again, and then you're done. I guess that was my last one. Alright, so 3 times around and that's it. Alright, so clockwise, looking from the rim to the hub. I'm gonna start right here. Tell you what, I've owned quite a few dirt bikes. I've never ever torqued my spokes. I have literally just kind of gone around and felt them. One was loose, I stuck a wrench on it and cranked on it, and that was that. So this is pretty new to me, but I've also never spent $1,200 on a set of rims before, so I guess I care a little bit more now. But I'll probably do this to my stock rims just out of good faith. Make sure those things don't get destroyed by coming out around or whatever. To be honest with you, I probably mess this order up all the time. You'll probably be able to see it in this video. But I figure if I try to do it and I'm close enough, it's probably fine. Whole idea is you're just not totally taking the wheel out around by tightening one side quicker than the other, so. This ain't no high performance bike. It's just getting ridden in the trails. Yeah, so a quick rundown of everything I've done to the bike. Deleted the emission system, did the Yoshi pipe, got these cheap case savers off of Amazon. You just RTV them right on there. Zeta oil cover cap, because mine got destroyed. Zeta trigger brake lever because that also got destroyed. Outback Motor Tech crash bars, one of my favorite things. I got the Acerbis guards here, even though I rode it and like already wore the paint off before I put these on, so not really sure what those are doing for me other than protecting the already destroyed paint slash I guess it could help with impacts. Got the AXP skid plate on there, which is awesome. I really like that. I already talked about the protection on the Yoshi pipe. I went with these Renthal twin wall handlebars, and I think these were adapters. They brought the bars up a little bit. Highly recommend changing the bars. The stock bars are trash. I got this little USB dual port charger off Amazon. That thing's great. I mean, I've ridden in the rain and everything else, and that hasn't broken yet. Obviously the Warp9 rims and all that. I got the front rotor guard up there. That thing's taken some blows, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think the throttle tube is called it's like the G2 or something like that. I got it on CRF300L.com. That was a good buy. I used to have another one in there that was a works connection, and it had all the different cams you could put in. And I put like a super aggressive cam in, and it actually made a good difference, and I liked it. But it didn't work with the bar ends. I ended up doing some like hack job bullshit to make it work, and my throttle would always get stuck, which it is right now, but that's just because the bar end got destroyed the other day. It's all bent in. I have to take it off and I'll bend it back, but that'll be fine. I lost this phone charger. I've had this phone charger, or not the charger, the phone mount. I've had that mount for like 8 years. I just moved it from bike to bike. Finally broke. Other than that, rest of the bike's pretty much stock. Obviously all the 550 performance stuff and the twin air filter. Really liking it set up like this right now though. And she's taking a beating, and nothing's crazy happened yet, so it's a good bike. And that is my C90T Boulevard. I think it's part of the Boulevard line. Just kind of my beater cruiser bike. I refuse to spend Harley Davidson money at this point, so I got one of those. It's fun. Thing rides like a couch. Does its job. I got it when I had a Gixxer 750. Me and my wife, my girlfriend at the time, would go out on the Gixxer, and she'd want to stay out for hours. My back would hurt and whatnot, so I was like, I gotta get something more comfortable. So I got that thing, and I like it. It's a good beater bike. I leave it outside. I don't do anything to it. Change the oil, that's about it. It's a good bike though.